Hello and welcome to the Dragon Slayer podcast in association with Riverside Sports Bar, the home of live sport and great food in Newport. I'm Jamie and joining me for this special episode is Gareth Lekker. Hello Gareth, how are you?
Hey Jamie, yep, all good, pretty excited.
You looking forward to this one?
I am indeed. New season's upon us and yeah, special guest, exciting stuff.
Absolutely. So our listeners have been asking us for quite a while now, to be fair, can we get a player on the pod? And I'm pleased to say that we finally have got a player on the pod. So he's a tighthead prop who started his career with the Leopards and has also played for the Bulls and Cheetahs in his native South Africa. He became the Dragons' 13th signing in the summer, and we are delighted to say, welcome to the Dragon Slayer, Robert Hunt. How are you, Rob?
Jamie, great to be here. I'm doing fine, thanks.
Excellent. Great to have you with us. So let's start at the beginning then, Rob. Tell us about your upbringing in South Africa and how your rugby journey began.
Oh, yeah, that takes me a while back. Well, I think that was pretty much one of my first memories was playing with the egg. I reckon I was about 4, maybe 5 when, I got my very first rugby jersey and kind of these little, almost like an academy, but just called a clinic. And the very first jersey I actually got was a jersey with the number 3 on, and never worn anything else. So they pretty much labeled me, and I just went with it. Yeah.
Destiny, wasn't it, to be a tight there, number 3? Was your destiny?
Yeah, apparently I have to be born tighthead, so maybe that was the case. But yeah, that was pretty much the start of it. It's pretty much part of the culture in South Africa. So playing rugby is not just fun, but it's also obviously a privilege and forms part of your aspirations and, becoming the man, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So who were your rugby heroes growing up then, Rob? Were there any particular Springbok players that you looked up to and admired?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, as a young prop coming through the system, scrums are important, but playing with the ball is probably the best part of it. In the younger systems. So just for that sake, I'd have to say Osterrand. I mean, he was just, apart from being an absolute animal in the scrum, everyone admired him for just his beastly way of doing things. He was just all over the park and carrying and tackling and all that. Yeah. So Osterrand, absolutely, as a child, and then obviously as the eras went on, there were a few guys in my younger days as I was still trying to make it into the system. Obviously, guys like Frans Malherbe, and even as I started making it into the like semi-professional, amateur through semi-professional, guys like Volku Low, both for the humans they are, but also especially for as rugby players.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so you have played URC rugby before. You played for the Bulls, didn't you? I think you played against Cardiff, didn't you? Is that right? Was that your debut in the URC?
Yeah, Cardiff Arms Park.
That's right. And it was a comeback victory as well, wasn't there? If I remember correctly. I can't remember the score, but I do remember Bulls being behind by about 15 points or so. You came back at the end. What do you remember about that game?
Jamie, to be honest, the only thing I remember about that game was making my debut, and it was a bit of a disorganized one. I was my starting prop. He'd lost his boot in warm up, so I was lending him one of my boot. We just happened to have the same size and same boot, same exact boot. So I was lending him my shoe. And as I came onto the pitch to make my debut for the Bulls, firstly, and URC debuts, massive. And I was busy trying to change my boots, halfway done with that, and the ref just continued with the game. So if you're asking me about the game, whether we made a comeback or we were behind, I honestly cannot tell you. I was just, my heart was from even before the game started. I was just, I was nerve-wracked, to be honest.
Oh, that's fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
But it was lovely. It was lovely.
Yeah. You've arrived to us from the Cheetahs. And from what you said to the South African media, it sounds like you really enjoyed your time at the Cheetahs. You did say so, which caught my interest. You said the Cheetahs absolutely reignited my passion for rugby. Can you just expand on that a little bit? Because it sounds like you might have been a bit of a crossroads in your career. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. And this is a question that I have to answer, as accurate as I can, just simply for the reason it's not that before that, I just don't want to discredit where I was before that or anything like that. What it basically just comes down to was just really enjoying the game in terms of what it's all about and why we do it and how we do it and, how we treat each other and how we treat the game. I feel like going into my first professional stint, it was pretty much, it was so nerve-wracking and so focused, and you never really took a moment to just take it all in and just remember why you play and why you enjoy it. So yes, it's absolutely accurate in saying that the Cheetos absolutely did that for me. I did have a bit of crossroads, whether I was going to continue down this path that was really eating at me, and whether I was going to give it another go, and I did, and yeah, definitely glad I did.
Oh, good stuff. So how was your move from South Africa to Wales been then, Rob, in terms of the lifestyle, weather, and adapting to a new environment? Are you settling in okay?
Yeah, obviously the weather is probably one of the biggest things, the weather and the Welsh accent, but it's been good. I've really enjoyed it. I think work is about 70% of it, if it's not 80. So I'm enjoying work. The culture is good. The setup is good. It's well organized. And with that in place, the rest is just, it's pretty easy to adapt. Obviously still getting used to the way of things working in the UK, but it's been fine, to be honest. I've really enjoyed it. Ask me again in 2 or 3 months when it's midwinter and icy all over. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it so far, and I'm happy to have made the move.
No, that's good. Are you living in Newport then, Rob, or are you living in Cardiff? Where are you living to?
I'm staying in Cardiff at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, we won't hold that against you. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's a good city. Cardiff's a great city. Not as good as Newport.
As long as we go and beat them. As long as we beat them, it's fine.
Yeah,
that's all it really matters, to be honest.
Absolutely. So, Rob, we've had a few South African players at the Dragons over the years. We've had guys such as Percy Montgomery, Reinhold Landman, Salpatoria, Saint Kirshner, and of course the legend Brock Harris, just to name a few. Can I ask you, Rob, what did you know about the Dragons before you signed for us? And given the history and the struggles of this club over the last few years, what was the attraction for you to sign for the Dragons?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I'll tell you why, or I'll start with how I perceived the Dragons prior to making the move. Really only started following the Dragons, closely when we started the first rounds of URC, or the first season of URC, which was 2021, 22, when I was still at the Bulls. And I remember that playing the Dragons or analyzing them, the things that stood out was the physicality, and usually accompanied by some pretty big forwards or size. So that was kind of the thing. And then, for me, making the move, or just prior to making the move, I obviously had a bit of a thought, what it is I was looking for, what it is, or the team that I wanted to be associated with. And to me, it just seemed like the Dragons is this team who has so much potential. And, the foundations was pretty much the selling point in terms of there's not much wrong. It's small fixes. I thought the Dragon set piece was one of the better Welsh set pieces. And if you have to throw it in a bigger category in the URC, I thought the Welsh, the Dragons, was fairly good at that. So for me to take that into consideration, adding on instead of trying to build something from scratch, that's obviously a win for me as well. Because if I was going to work with a new group of guys in a new culture, in a new environment, I would want to do it with a group of forwards and with a group of guys who's willing to, show that effort and show that bit of grit. Yeah, that for me was a major selling point. Obviously, having guys like Landman and Sarel and Brock Harris being at the club, that just told me if a guy like Brock and we we all pretty much know each other, even though we don't spend time or we have the odd conversation. And if a guy like Brock could find a way to really enjoy it, and I think he stayed for 7 years or something, then I mean that tells me everything I need to know.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, so you talked about swinging the momentum of the club around. That's something you spoke about. Are you confident, Rob, the Dragons could be a surprise package this season and maybe prove a few people wrong? Can we cause a few upsets, do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we're all pretty excited to see what we're going to bring to the table, because we've all seen glimpses of what that looks like, and I think from my point of view we definitely prepared, and I think we have the firepower to actually do some damage. And if you're asking about being a surprise package, I suppose, and without disrespect, but even just making the odd upset here or there would already be a surprise package, which is obviously not what we're going for. We really want to be the team that guys are like, we didn't expect this.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's a simple game. It's a game with an oval ball. There's forwards, there's backs. Everyone do their job, and we can paint a different picture.
Yeah, good stuff. So being a tighthead prop, the set piece is crucial, as we all know. How would you describe your scrummaging style then, Rob? And what do you think you'll bring to the Dragons pack?
Yeah, set piece, obviously crucial. I really take my pride in that. And I think that's probably also a South African thing. But yeah, to be honest, I think it's just prioritizing my main job, in that being that it's all about the scrum. You have your list. Scrum is first. That's my first job. Then the rest of the set piece, and then whatever follows is seen as extra. But that's I think it's more a mindset thing for me. And as a result of the mindset, I work on those things, and I really put in a lot of effort. At the end of the day, it's still an 8-man, job, an 8-man thing. So it's also about, working well with the guys next to you, having those conversations, fixing those small little errors, or adjusting things here, just to get along. And I think we've done that well. Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, so Dragons had a successful preseason, beating Hartbury and Scarlets. You played in both of those games. I was at Ronnie Parade. You did a very good job on their loose head, I will say. We were all very impressed.
I was watching that, to be fair. Seeing the arms rep go up in our way, seeing our scrum go forward, absolutely loving life. Said on the pod last week, I'll cheer that all season. I'm looking forward to many penalties going our way in the coming weeks.
Yeah, that's lovely to hear, gents. And obviously for us, that's also a big confidence boost, because we've been building these blocks and we've been talking about it. And at some point, you have to stop talking and actually do the work. So just getting that confidence out of it and taking that into the URC, we're hoping to do a lot, and I mean a lot more of that. So yeah.
That's good to hear. It was nice to see, because we're not used to seeing that. We're not a team that's normally dominant. No, seriously, though, we're not traditionally a team with a strong scrum, but it was really pleasing against Scarlets that we did have a dominant scrum. Hopefully, we can take that into the regular season. How was pre-season been for you personally then, Rob? Have you enjoyed it? Has it been tough going?
Yeah, I wouldn't enjoy, and pre-season isn't usually two words that go together. But yeah, it was different. It was interesting to see the way that they structure it, the way that the S&C, structured it for, maximum benefit in terms of fitness and conditioning, while also getting the most rugby out of it. So it was a really interesting preseason. I think we worked really, really hard. There were some really dark times, as any preseason should be. But yeah, we really broke it into blocks, and every block had its own like focus areas that we wanted to work on.
Yeah.
All those blocks obviously contained plenty of conditioning, and towards the end of preseason, a lot more physicality, that kind of endurance into power and just bringing rugby and fitness together. So I'd put this on the list of probably the best preseasons that I've had in terms of just really organized and controlled. I feel like we're really fit, and I feel like we're conditioned. Everyone looks the role they should be playing, and we haven't had too many injuries and not too many niggles, fortunately. So that enables us to go into the season, everyone being well conditioned. We're well coached. We're all on the same page, and we have numbers. We don't have 20 guys with preseason injuries, which I think is ultimately what you want to
get. That would
up.
make a refreshing change at the Dragons, to be perfectly honest. With full fit squad.
From what I've heard, absolutely. Yes. I mean, you can have the most grueling preseason ever and lose half your squad in the process trying to prove something, or you can just be smart about it and get the best of both worlds. I don't know. I thought it was really good. So yeah, we've worked hard and we're ready to fire. We're really excited to just have a go.
Oh, that's good stuff. I suppose this leads on to my next question. So, as I'm sure you'll be aware, there's a lot happening in Welsh rugby right now, especially off the field. Don't worry, Rob, I'm not going to put you on the spot. We're not going to talk about Welsh politics because it wouldn't be fair to you when we've talked enough about it on this pod. But what is the current mood like in camp now, Rob? Is there a sense of, anticipation, excitement? Because there is a cloud sort of hanging over all the regions. But what is the mood of the camp like right now?
Yeah, Jamie, I'll be really honest. I think at the moment we've just kind of put that aside. Yeah. If the guys are hiding it, and I'm sure some of them think about it from time to time, because that's natural. They've loved this club growing up. They've been in this club. Some of the guys, I mean, Matthew Screech is playing 200 games this weekend against Ulster. Yeah. He's been around. So for all of these guys, this club really means a lot. But in terms of how it's affected us in camp, I think, it's like I haven't noticed that it's bugging anyone. I feel like everyone's just thinking about the URC. That's part of what the coaches have been saying as well, is control the controllables. Whatever the Wales Rugby Union decide, and I really hope it's for the better of all the clubs. That's in their court. If it's out of our hands, then the only thing we can control is the URC, how we perform. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I honestly don't think guys are thinking about that at the moment. I think everyone's just having their eyes on the URC and just doing as well as we can.
Oh, that's fair enough.
On the mindset as well, Bob. Do you think, obviously there's a lot of new guys at the club, and it all sounds like pre-season has been really positive. Do you feel like it's going to take a little bit of time for the team to gel, or do you feel like we're already sort of singing off the same hymn sheet?
Yeah, that's a good question. It feels like almost half of the squad are new guys. But that's the thing of a preseason as well. Is there's plenty of time going 15v15 on the field, and although it's not a game, that should have given us enough time to actually adapt and get used to each other. So we're hoping that it's not the case of gelling. I think that would be an ill excuse if we were to struggle in some of the areas. We've played Hartbury. We were all pretty rusty. But I felt like we built momentum from that into the Scarlets game, gelling even more, if we'd use that term. I think we should be ready to go. I don't think we can use gelling or not being used to each other as an excuse. I think we should be ready to go.
Amazing. I mean, as a fan, it's so good to hear, and I feel like I'm going into the season with a bit of optimism, and I'm really looking forward to getting on the terrace and cheering you guys on. Are there any particular games that stand out in the calendar for you that you're excited to get into?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's hard to really pick them out, Gareth. And obviously, I'm excited that the fans are excited, and it's a bit of a mutual thing. We work for you, and you guys work for us. That kind of relationship is we bring the rugby. If we do our jobs well, then you bring the cheer, and that's it walks hand in hand. But in terms of home games, especially ones that have stood out, to be honest, I'm really focused on Ulster this weekend, and I know it's an away game. It's just the way that I work is I just try and focus on the game at hand. But the game that has been standing out for me would be next weekend, Sharks,
Yes.
and of course the Bulls. Playing the Bulls home would be pretty fun. So yeah, those are the two games. Obviously, there are a few others. I know Leinster's in November as well. I'm looking forward to that. But obviously, playing the Saffas here at Rodney would be very, very exciting.
Yes,
will there be quite a bit of chat in those games? Will you get a bit of stick from your ex-teammates when we play the Bulls, or?
Yeah, I'm sure there will be a few transactions. But at the end of the day, it should be all fun and games. Once the game's over. So
yeah,
I think it's maybe a bit of chirping here or there, but I think it's just a matter of just having a go at each other. I think it's healthy.
Happy days.
Absolutely. Yeah. That Sharks game on a Friday night is going to be massive, isn't it? We're all looking forward to hopefully get a big crowd down there, and it's a big one. But I'll stir up first, of course. What are your hobbies and interests outside of rugby then, Rob? What do you like getting up to away from the game?
To be honest, I'd say business. I know it's not really much of a hobby. It's more of a hobby / side hustle. I think I just like educating myself on that. I find it interesting how the economy works. Entrepreneurial traits and ventures and all of that. But that's not really a hobby. So I'll try and find my hobbies. I really enjoy playing golf every now and then. Although I'm fairly terrible at that. I'm still trying to break 100. So, but I really enjoy the golf. If I was back home and I was still in my old place, I'd definitely say woodwork. I did a fair amount of woodwork, or what would you say, carpentry?
Yeah.
I've done a fair amount of that, which was really probably one of my most favorite hobbies. But obviously, you need the equipment and the and the space for it. So that hasn't been a hobby of lately. Yeah, I'll leave it there. I'd say those are probably my biggest ones. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. You mentioned coaches earlier. How have you found working with Philo Tia, and we've got a new defence coach now, Dave McLeod. How have you found working with those guys?
I found it to be really good. I think I'll start with Coach Philo. I think he's a really composed but intellectual human being. I feel like his approach towards the game is really something that I admire, and he's got that bit of, like, I said composure, but he's got a bit of like heart in him. You can see his passion for the game and for people, and I think that sets the tone. Sets the tone for us to really respect what he's trying to do, and as a result, automatically we follow the plans that they give us. It's a trust that goes both ways. So I've really enjoyed that. They've also constantly checked in, make sure I'm adapting well, check if there's anything I need help with. So that in itself says a lot. Coach Dale, obviously on defense, and I think he's really trying hard to get the proper defense structured in. Once again, you can see the passion in the way that he coaches the defense. So I think from a coaching point of view, they've done their work. We've received all the structures, and I think we feel very confident with that. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been really good. Not just them, all the coaches, all the staff, all of them. It's been really spot on, I believe.
Oh, good stuff. So can I ask, you've been in the environment for a little while now. The Dragons do have a crop of really talented youngsters. Is there anyone that's caught your eye, Rob, since you've come over here? Like any youngsters in the camp who you thought, yeah, you're going to have a big future?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I'll keep it to the props because that's more my specialty. I believe Dylan KG.
Yep.
I believe he's one of those guys who's got really, really good potential. The guy's he's obviously taking his rugby seriously. He's got the skill for it, and he's got the strength. He's a really, really strong young guy. So he's got everything. He just needs to keep building. Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that can really, really make it into the Welsh rugby system, and yeah, maybe even further than that.
Oh, good. That's encouraging to hear. He did make his debut last season and his first start, and he was very impressive, I have to say. So yeah, one for the future. Right. Thank you for talking to us, Rob. It's been much appreciated. We're going to finish now with some quick fire fun questions. Just a bit of fun. See how you get on with these. So nothing too serious. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, shoot.
Right. Okay. So tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Chinese or Indian?
Indian.
Night in or night out?
Night in.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Adele, something Adele.
Really? Look at you, Rob. I would not say Adele. I have to be honest. You don't look like an Adele guy to me.
Yeah, no, it honestly is. Set Fire to the Rain or something like that. You know?
That's a good song.
Yeah, lovely.
Okay, wasn't expecting that. Funniest teammate at the Dragons?
Ooh, Matthew Screech. Or Dylan Lewis, tight go. But I think out of the blocks, Matthew Screech.
Okay. Toughest opponent you faced in your career so far? Thinking about this one now, Robin. Yeah.
That shouldn't be a fire question. That's one big thought. We're talking props here, right?
That's right. Yeah. So, like Lou said, is there anyone who's given you a tough time at the scrum, or just around the field?
Yeah, I just say, can't think of a specific name now, so I'll just say, obviously, scrumming against Ox is one of those big moments. Yeah. Especially just coming through the system.
Yeah. No, it's fair enough. That's a good answer. Right. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Good man. Correct answer. If you wasn't a rugby player, what job would you be doing?
Ooh. Yeah, entrepreneur, businessman.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. What's your favorite film?
That would be either 21 or Wanted.
Okay. Favorite band or artist? Anyone other than Adele?
Let's go with NF.
Okay. And finally then, Rob, this is one to think about. What's the best thing about South Africa?
Brandy.
Fair enough. Right, here we are. Gareth, any more questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, only one more, Rob. You mentioned the pre-season was sort of in blocks and we've sort of got good cohesion. Any good socials, and who's best on a social at the Dragons?
Who's best at a social? Yeah, we had a proper one when we were in Monmouth on camp.
Yeah.
So I think pretty much everyone bought in. We just had a bit of a braai night. So myself and Tinus shared a bit of the South African culture by just braaiing steaks and chops and sausage and everything. In terms of guys keeping the party going, we haven't really had a social in that sense, to be honest. So I can't really tell you. We'll have to find out at some point, but I don't see where and when. So yeah.
Any initiations to go with that as well, or you wait until you get your first proper Dragons cap?
Oh no! Of course, there's been some some initiations going around. Nothing too serious. Very, very modest. Very fair, to be honest. That was actually a good social. Now that come to mention it, I think guys like Jumbo was probably taking the lead there. Jumbo, Gussie, and probably Screech as well. Jared is very, very high up in that list as well, taking lead when it comes to socials. Yeah, so we just had a fun day. I won't go into too much details. That's not for me to share. That's yeah, but it was good. So in a sense, yeah, probably I'm part of the Dragons now officially, and hopefully after this weekend I'll officially have a cap after my behind my name. So that would be official.
It's yeah, and I think the only thing left for me to say is really looking forward to watching you, and all the best for the season, Rob. Excited for it to get going now.
Yeah, thanks, Gareth. I appreciate that. Yeah, really, really excited to go.
Absolutely. Robert Hunt, thank you so much for joining us. It's really appreciated. You've been a great guest. You are now officially a friend of the pod, and you will be referred to from now on as Robert Hunt, friend of the pod, just like Jumbo is, and countless other people. So thank you for giving up your time. Best of luck for the new season ahead. It's an exciting one, isn't it? Hopefully we can get some wins and prove a few people wrong, and I'm very excited about it. So best of luck, Rob. Hope it all goes well for you.
Jamie, thanks. Yeah, of course, we'll do our best as always, but hopefully our best is a bit better than before. And it's a long season, so we'll keep going. But yeah, Jamie, thanks for having me. Gareth, good to have a chat. It's been really fun on the Dragon Lair. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Gareth, thank you for joining me. Thank you to Carwyn at the Dragons for setting this up for us. Thank you to our friends at the Riverside Sports Bar for their continued support of this podcast. We'll be back next week to review the Ulster game. But until then, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Ta-ra.
Cheers.